Welcome to السفره, dinner table. One of the things that I always ask, and there's no answer to it because nobody had been able to answer, is why. And I'm not asking God why. I'm asking people why. So that's why I feel like there should be an answer to it. Why do narcissists destroy their lives and the lives of the people around them? Why? I really want to know why. Because they do. And it happens all the time. And you bring it to their attention. It's like, why? Why did you pick this fight? Why did you have to destroy this? Why did you have to raise hell about the spoon is not where it belongs, or the dishes are not done right after dinner, or just picking a small fight over nothing just to create havoc and gain control, basically. But time after time, year after year, you realize and you're seeing that when you're doing that, you're creating this environment at home that nobody wants to live in. Not even you. You feel like this is how you gain control, but then you're not gaining control because people around you don't want to be around you. When you start giving that feeling, maybe the first time, the second time, third time, people say, well, maybe I'll tolerate it again, or I'll tolerate it one more time. Maybe he'll listen. Maybe he won't do it again. Maybe she won't. This is not going to happen. Maybe this, maybe that. But then sooner or later, there's something is going to happen. First of all, in the whole process from start to whatever the ending is, no one lives in peace. No one is happy. Everybody does not want to be around you. Okay, so if you're the narcissist and you feel like the problems are being created by you, even though you blame it on others, but the problem initiates by you. You can say, see what you did to me. When you tell people, you made me get angry, you made me do this because this piece of knife should not be here, it should be there. And I'm so angry because you made me this. You had to do it. When you say these things, it is not them, it's you. Okay? So understand that part. Understand that it is you who's creating this trouble, and it's you who's creating these problems. And when you do it time after time after time, the closest people around you don't want to be around you. They'll find ways to, like, without knowing, even sometimes people realize it quick enough to where they don't want to be around you on purpose, but there are sometimes that people just, their instinct, because usually you just don't want to be close to a place where you're going to be burned, you're going to be hurt. One of the saying that people say is that if you pass by the stove and you accidentally put your hand there and you get burned, you will not go there again. You will not make that mistake again. Your hands are not going to hit the stove again. Well, that's what the narcissists do, but a lot of people subconsciously just don't want to be around that person. Now, when they think about it and say, why is it that I don't want to go to this dinner? Oh, yeah, it's because so-and-so is there. Because that person is going to create trouble, is going to create problems, going to create whatever, all of this. So my question is, I want an answer from a narcissist, even though nobody will admit that they're narcissists, but I want an answer from them. Again, I'm asking a very simple question. Why is it that you do what you do when at the end of this, your family, let's start with your spouse, wants to leave you, or you have pushed them to the point where they're so desperate that they're in deep depression that they're not worth living with. You've destroyed who they are, and they are just like a piece of lump over there, just nothing. Do you want to have that kind of life where you go home and there's just somebody just sits there and nothing because they're afraid to open their mouth? Is that the life you want? Is that makes you happy as a husband or as a wife? Is that, you see this your spouse when you're with people, when you're in public, they are having the time of their lives. They're talking, they're enjoying, and everything about them is good and wonderful and rosy. But then when they're private with you, it's all trouble, 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 trouble. So why? Why is it that you create these things, these environments to where you sit in that place and you don't want anybody around you to get out of it? Your kids. I mean, I know that all parents love their kids. But why do you create an environment where kids do not want to be at home? Now, I'm not talking about the abusive people. Those abusive people, nobody wants to be around them, and those people have mental disability. But I'm talking about the narcissist, not the narcissist mental deformation or whatever it's called. I'm talking about the personality, because those people can control themselves. But they don't, because they just feel like whatever they're doing is correct. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always, you made me do this. It's always, why did you put the knife here and not there? It's always, I don't want to hear any more noises. I came home, I'm tired or whatever. It's all about you and nobody else. And then at the end result, you're destroying the life that is around you. And then you end up being destroyed. You end up being alone. You end up being somebody that nobody wants to be around. You end up being all of this. It's not like you're only hurting them, you're hurting yourself. So the question is, again, why? Why do you do this to yourself, to your family, to your spouse, to your friends, to anybody? I know some narcissist people that never feel like it's their fault. This, especially the older they get. And since they won't allow anybody to argue in the process, if this person is arguing always, let's go back to the knife issue. If always the argument is, why is this here and not here, and fight over it, and then the next day it's here, and then there's another argument about something else and another thing and another thing, and you won't allow people to argue and understand what's going on, why are you doing this, then you're never going to allow people to actually get inside you to negotiate these things, to say, let's understand, why are you doing this? Why are you this? Why are you that? And when you don't, the older you get, the more aggressive you become in your behavior. And ultimately, no one can stand you. No one wants to be around you. When you feel like you're always right and you fight, you not argue, you fight with people. You tell them how in loud voices and argument, everything in the world you try to push to make yourself feel like you have the last word. I want to understand, why is the last word is, you think that if you have the last word that means that you won an argument? Why can't you for one time think that maybe people just got tired of dealing with you? And that's worse. Believe me, that's worse. That means that you're so like nothing now. I don't want to argue with you. You're not worth it. I'm not going to waste my time and my effort on you. Why? Why would I do that? If the end result, I'm just going to watch you be mad and angry and blame the world on everything except yourself. So again, if you're a narcissist, or if you know someone who is a narcissist, please tell me, if you know the reason, tell me why. Now, I want to say that I have studied many, many things about narcissism. There are so many wonderful scholars in this field, and I've studied and learned and want to get to the point where I want to find someone who can tell me this is how you change the behavior, how you do this. Of course, you can, if these people are very young. Parents are responsible for creating these creatures, but you can when they're very young. But once they grow up and they get that like in them, like when they're 18, 19, something like that, and it's in them, then all they're going to do is get it worse and worse and worse. Okay? And so I want to know from someone who can actually get in their head and ask them why. I've talked with a lot of people, narcissists, and I see them being built as narcissists. I've started with people who are 16, 17, try to dampen that, try to tell them that please don't think that you're always right. Having the last word doesn't mean this, whatever, all of that stuff. It doesn't go anywhere. It just doesn't go anywhere. And I think that parents are responsible for making kids, raising kids that are narcissists, and they need to watch out for that. Of course, most people don't do that on purpose, of course, but they don't understand when they do it, how the different ways of raising your kids, how they end up being narcissists. And it actually it comes from two ways. Both of them ends up with the same result. One is by providing your kids with everything, that you just give them whatever it is, whether they deserve it or not. And I'm not talking about only rich people do that. Some people who don't have the means also allow their kids to do a lot of things that should not be. So if you don't have the means to buy them a big car, you're still going to give them $10, which usually is a lot of money for this kid. And even if you told them that if you don't get me an A, I'm not going to give you the $10. So the punishment for you don't fulfill your promises of punishment is what I'm saying. If you say that if you don't do this, I'm not going to do this, and they don't do this, you still do it. So they think that all they have to do is just talk you into their way. They're smarter than you. They can get to where they want to go with you, where they want to end up with you, if they just sweet talk you somehow or trick you into it. It gets in their head that I can do it, even though you know that they're not winning the argument. You're just doing it because you feel like you love them and want them to do that. But in their mind is they are winning the argument, and they want to win every argument they get into when they grow up.
Okay.
The other side is when the other parents, when they don't give their kids anything, when their kids are they're always being punished. They feel like nobody likes them. They're outsiders. They're so at home and at school, and they grow up having no feelings for others, and they get raised in an environment where they feel like everybody hates me, and therefore I'm okay for hating people. It's okay with me to hate people, and they do that, and they start growing up in that mentality, and they give themselves the right to hate people and to treat them badly and do all that stuff. Both of these end up with a narcissist personality where they don't care about people, and all they do is like, okay, I'm gonna argue until I shut them up, and I'm gonna blame, and it's always somebody else's fault. After a while, they believe everything they're saying. So it started out being somebody who wants to win an argument, and I'm gonna think this and I'm gonna do that. Then it becomes like a natural thing for them, and they believe that, and they win an argument in their mind. But in the meantime, they're destroying all the lives of the people around them. So again, please find out why. That's what I want to know. If you find out why, let me know, because that would be something that I would really love to understand. And the next person I work with who has a narcissist personality, I can reach out to them and see what I can do to help them with maybe reduce the level of the narcissism that they have in their head. So anyway, please find out why, ask them why, if they can give you an answer, and get back with me, please. Thank you, and have a great day.